Good morning, everybody. MG here. MGCovers coming to you live October the 8th, Tuesday, 2019. We're going to review what we learned in our video, Fading the Public in the NFL. It was part 3 of how to handicap the NFL. We're going to take what we learned in that and see if it really is legit and applies to this specific week of the NFL, which was this past weekend. Before we do that, let's quickly review. We had a very profitable weekend. We had 3 dogs on the money line. 2 of those hit. That brings us year-to-date. This includes preseason. We're 14-9, up 8.26 units. That means a $100 player would be up $826. Soccer, 13-12. We play a majority of underdogs in that as well. 13-12, up 3.7 units. NCAA football, we're 11-11, up 0.91 units. So we're profitable in all 3 fall sports. Proud of that. We'll get back to that a little bit later, but I want to dive into what we just talked about. So if you remember, if you go back and watch that video, Fading the Public in the NFL, it's part 3. You'll see it in the YouTube channel. We had 2 rules. Number 1, fade the public when 57% of the tickets are on the public team. And the reason I use 57, that ensures us that that team truly is a public team. And then what we're going to do is we would play the opposite team. The second rule is don't play favorites that are favored more than 14 points. Reason being, that's, again, a lot of points to cover to give a NFL team 2 touchdowns. So anyway, so let's take those 2 rules and let's apply it to this past week here and see how it looks. Okay, the first game here, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was getting 54% of the tickets, so that was a pass there. If you look here, Oakland was getting only 37% of the tickets. Chicago was clearly the public team here at 63%. So if you would have faded Chicago and played Oakland, that would have been a winner. So we are 1-0. All right, let's go to the next game. We have Arizona, 61% of the tickets. Cincinnati, 39% of the tickets. So we would have played Cincinnati -3. That would have been a loss, so we are now 1-1. Notice that Jacksonville-Carolina game is 50-50 game. We'll come back to that. That was a game that I gave out as a free play, and we'll talk about, analyze that a little bit deeper. So moving along, Minnesota Giants, 59% of the tickets were on Minnesota, 41% on New York Giants, so we would play the Giants. So now that puts us at 1-2. Am I thinking right? Okay. And then, yeah. All right, so we go to New England, Washington. We have 67% of the tickets on New England, 33% on Washington. We would have played Washington. We would have lost that one, so now we're 1-3. Let's go to the Jets, Philadelphia. 59% of the tickets on the Jets, 41% on Philadelphia. So Philadelphia was -14, so we would not have played that per the rules, even though they did win. All right, moving along. Atlanta, Houston. If you look at that Tampa, New Orleans, that one doesn't qualify. So Atlanta, very public team in that game, 60% of the tickets. Houston with a very convincing win, 40% of the tickets on Houston, so that would have been a play. So now we're 2-3. And then that takes us to Indianapolis, Kansas City. The public team was Kansas City, 57%, Indianapolis, 43%. So we would have played Indianapolis. So that takes us at 3-3. So we would have been, just using that, we would be 50%. And as far as profitable, we would have lost juice. So I'm not really saying that that's a specific way that you can wager per se, although some do it. But it does ensure that it's almost virtually impossible to lose with a fading the public strategy. I think if you watch the video I made, I think it was actually 7-7. I used like 1 week or 2 weeks, something like that. So you could see if you use that as sort of maybe if you don't have a stat model like I do, You can use that sort of as a foundation, so you can look at the games that are 57% or higher and maybe pick from those games. So let's say if we were 3-3, let's say we only play 2 or 3 of those games. With some handicapping, you can actually make that profitable. So it is legit. It does work to fade the public. Just wanted to show you that what I'm teaching you guys is legit. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys my plays for this past week and show you where the money was. All right, and I talked about this in that same video. Let's look at this Jacksonville-Carolina game. I gave this away as a free play. Jacksonville had 3 turnovers. They won time of possession, and they won the rushing battle, which is one of the things I look for when handicapping. But look at the wagers. It's 50-50. So there was, and remember in that video, I told you if you see 50% of the ticket, if it's basically even, that means you're going to have sharp money on both sides, which would tell you it's a 50-50 game. Jacksonville +3. We actually played that on the money line and lost, so we paid no juice, which is important because the point I'm getting ready to make, if you slide down here, our next game, Buffalo, Tennessee. We played Buffalo on the money line, won that one, and that was a contrarian play as well. And let's slide down here to, I think we had Buffalo +140. And then finally, yeah, the Green Bay game. If you look there, 49% of the tickets were on Green Bay. So again, that's basically telling you have sharp money on both sides. Green Bay was +3.5. We played them on the money line. I think it was +155, so that was a very solid play there. And we actually went 2-1, but we were up a full 2 units, where if we'd have played them on the spread line, 2-1, after you pay the juice, we'd only been up 0.9 units. So there's some advantages of playing the money line. I talked about that in the first video. There was something else I want to tell you guys before. Oh, I know what it was. So let's say you're buying picks from a handicapper, and the picks that he's given you is a lot of this, 57%. The picks he's given you are basically public teams. So no good, guys. No good. That handicapper doesn't know what he's doing because, like I said, it's so easy to play a public team. He's not doing you any favors here, and more than likely it's going to be a losing proposition long term. So anyway, so enough about that. Hopefully that helped. If you haven't watched that video, please do. It's a good video. NFL, I'll probably link that one on the end screen on this one, how to handicap the NFL Part 3 Fading the Public. This is my website, MGCovers.com. If you don't have a stat model and you say, hey, I want to learn how to do this, this stat model here was able to predict the Green Bay victory. Made a video about this yesterday. It also, even though I didn't play it, it had Indy upsetting the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a very, very, very powerful power rankings and stat model. And when I say power rankings, I don't know if I should have used that term because I don't know if it really describes what it is. It's a way for you to create a actual spread line that is better than the general public's line, better than ESPN, et cetera, et cetera. And you can join 3 days for $1, and then it's $19.95 a month after that. If you want all my picks for all my sports, let's load. Yep, it's $49.95 per month. That's all my picks, all sports, and you also get all of the power rankings for free. So anyway, hope everybody had a profitable weekend, and if you didn't, hopefully you will bounce back this week. Don't forget to like this video and also subscribe. Would greatly, greatly appreciate it, and we will talk to you guys soon. Peace.